What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, the Madden Rebuild King, back at you with another Madden 20 rebuild. And today we're going to be rebuilding the New Orleans Saints with Sean Payton. We're going to be getting rid of Drew Brees and drafting a rookie quarterback. As you can see, the San Francisco 49ers and the Kansas City Chiefs in the Super Bowl. That will be a good matchup. If you're watching the video, please comment below if you think that would be a good Super Bowl matchup and if you would like to see that matchup, or who you think is going to make it to the Super Bowl out of the last four teams. As we go ahead and load in our draft class, they have us quick scout the #1 overall player and Joe Burrow. And as you can see, we have a lot of players with expiring contracts. Not going to bring back Drew Brees, especially not for that amount of money at 41. We will go ahead and offer Larry Warford a contract. He is 81 overall. It's always nice to keep good offensive linemen. Got to keep the quarterback protected. Going to bring back David Onyemata also. Andrews Pete. It's only 26, 78 overall, only normal development, but still a pretty solid player. Same thing with Von Bell. Don't want to pay him too much. He's not interested in signing. Franchise tag is way too much. And Eli Apple isn't re-signing with us either, so lose a couple players on defense. But as we get into free agency, you can see we have $54.9 million. Derrick Henry available, but we have Alvin Kamara. Gonna go ahead and try to sign Amari Cooper. Try to take some of the pressure off Michael Thomas and get some more weapons for our young quarterback. Gonna go ahead and raise the offer on Kendall Fuller. So we're in a bidding war with the Buffalo Bills. We don't need any defensive linemen. Don't need any safeties. Joe Sherbert's available. Gonna go ahead and offer him a contract. 26 years old, superstar development, 82 overall. And he will be a huge upgrade for our middle linebacker position. And we don't have a left outside linebacker either. Go ahead and give Matthew Judon a contract offer. 82 overall, star development. He is 28, but should be solid for a year or two. So all we're going to need out of him anyways. We're going to go ahead and try to get some separations on these teams that we're in bidding wars with before we advance the week. We do want to get all the players we targeted. That would be huge. Matt Judon, Fuller, Cooper, and Schobert all accept the contracts. That's huge. So we go ahead and simulate to the draft. Before we get into the draft, I'm going to go ahead and look at the lineup, see where we could use help, see where the draft can help us. We know we need a quarterback. First round pick has to be a quarterback. Could use a right guard. But other than that, the offense looks really solid. Defense, cornerbacks, linebackers, safeties all look amazing. Defensive tackles, Cameron Jordan, amazing. Wish Marcus Davenport would have got a development upgrade. But coming into this draft, besides quarterback, I think we could just take a best player available approach. Maybe get a third receiver if the right one is on the board at the right time. As you can see, we have the 29th pick in the draft as the Colts take K'Lavon Chaisson, one pick ahead of us. As you can see, a lot of the top prospects still available. We go ahead and get our quarterback of the future, Jake Fromm, 73 overall, 21 in true value. We get him at pick 29. Star development or better, which is huge. So this is the quarterback we're going to be building around. The offense is already pretty solid. As you can see, we didn't have a second round pick. We're going to go ahead and see who's still available in the third round. Some top tight ends still available. Well, not top tight ends, but probably solid NFL backup tight ends at least. And Harrison Bryant and Chase Allen. A.J. Dillon's on the board. We don't need a running back. I'm going to go ahead and draft Antonio Gandy Golden, 69 overall. Ouch. But he does have star development or better, which is huge. 79 in true value. We get him at pick 93. So it's pretty much a win-win for us there. Hopefully we can get him some targets in this upcoming season, develop him nicely. I was hoping that a offensive lineman like a Trey Smith was still available at least. But we just go ahead and get another weapon for our young quarterback. We get Michael Pittman Jr. out of USC. I don't really see a lot of people draft him, and I can see why. In most drafts, he's only going to be a mid-60 overall with normal development. Would have been better if he had star development for us at least, but we got Antonio Gandy Golden to be our third receiver, so should be okay there. So we go ahead and look at the lineup. We got Jake Fromm starting at quarterback. We got Amari Cooper, Michael Thomas, Antonio Gandy Golden as our wide receivers. And on defense looks absolutely amazing. So we're going to put Antonio Gandy Golden in the slot. Make sure he gets enough targets so we can go ahead and find out that development trait. So we go ahead and simulate to midseason. Hopefully our team is playing well. Hopefully Jake Fromm is having a big season. All of our rookies, really. So we could hopefully be in line for some awards at the end of the season, which would be nice to get some development upgrades, hopefully. So as we get into mid-season, you can see we have a breakout player. Going to go ahead and see who it is. It's one of the receivers. Antonio Gandy Golden, 3 touchdowns or 150-plus yards, rushing/receiving. So we might have to hop in that game. As you can see, we're third in the division, 4-3 record. But we're only about a game or two back, so Jake Fromm having a nice year, 1,686 yards, 13 touchdowns, only 2 interceptions. Not getting much production from the running back position. as Kamara only has 397 yards and a touchdown. Latavius Murray with 3 touchdowns on the year. Michael Thomas with 574 yards, 2 touchdowns. Antonio Golden, 396 yards, 2 touchdowns. And Amari Cooper with only 258 yards and 1 touchdown. Jared Cook amazingly has 6 receiving touchdowns. So Jake Fromm must love to throw it to the tight end. 4 sacks for Cameron Jordan, 3.5 for Matt Judon, so we're not getting too much pressure. 2 picks for Kendall Fuller, 2 picks for Johnson, so we're not really getting many turnovers and sacks. So hopefully in the second half of the season we can do better. You see Antonio Gandy Golden still hitting. Jake Fromm with star development. Go ahead to the defensive side of the ball. Everything's still the same. We're going to go ahead and import our draft class before we sim the rest of the season. Import the 2021 draft. As you can see, Trevor Lawrence, #1 available player. Followed by a slew of other big name prospects for the 2021 draft. As you can see, we have a lot of players that we have to try to re-sign. So we're going to have to start that now. Alvin Kamara is definitely the first player we wanted to bring back. He resigns, which is huge. Got to bring back the offensive linemen. Like I said, you got to keep good offensive linemen. Marcus Williams wants more money. And we absolutely have to have Marshawn Lattimore back. He resigns, which is huge. But you can see we still have a bunch of big-name players that's on expiring contracts. I love to bring Sheldon Rankins back. We don't have the money, so going to be strapped for cash this offseason. So hopefully we can pick it up in the second half of the season. See, those are 2 huge players critical to our success. So it really hurt to lose them. So we get out the game with the Philadelphia Eagles. Antonio Gandy Golden has now boosted to superstar ability, which is huge. Go ahead and simulate to the next week as we have a frustrated receiver, but who cares? We're going to go ahead and simulate to the playoffs. Hopefully we can pick up momentum in the second half and finish strong. Maybe get a wild card at least. And we finished 12-4. So huge season for Jake Fromm. First in passing yards and touchdowns. As you see, we finished the top 10 in offensive and defensive yards. 4,500 yards, 45 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, 650 yards, a touchdown for Alvin Kamara, pretty disappointing. 7 touchdowns for Latavius Murray, 1,471 yards, 13 touchdowns for AGG, 1,100 yards, 10 touchdowns for Michael Thomas, 633 yards, 4 touchdowns for Amari Cooper, and 10 touchdowns for Jared Cook with a huge season. 10 sacks for Cam Jordan. Matt Judon with 6.5. Sheldon Rankins with 4.5. 4 interceptions for Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. And we got a slew of other players coming in with 2. But an absolutely huge year for 2 of our receivers. Wish Amari Cooper could have got closer to that 1,000-yard mark also. But huge season for Antonio Gandy Golden. As you can see, he's already up into the 80 overalls. As we will be going against the Green Bay Packers. And his superstar ability is Post Flag Elite, which is nice for me because that's one of my favorite routes to run. We go ahead and simulate the season. And we absolutely blew Green Bay out of the water, 41-10. So Jake Fromm just continuing his huge year. We get into the NFC Conference Championship game. We will be going against the 10-5-1 Dallas Cowboys. Going to be jumping in, playing the key moments. Going to let the computer play basically 95% of the game whenever I jump in and do the simulation. Only going to jump in if we really have to have a play. So as we go ahead and get into the game, we start off with the ball, march right down the field, get a field goal. We're going to go ahead and simulate to the next quarter. As you can see, we have a little bit of back and forth going on right now. Start of the third quarter, it is 14-10 Dallas. So they have a 4-point lead. Hopefully Jake Fromm can overcome this though. 17-10 at the start of the fourth. So not looking good for our guys right now. As we go down 10 points with a little bit over 4 minutes left, we go down and finally get a touchdown. The offense has come back to life for us as we get the ball back. A little bit over 3 minutes on the clock. We're already in field goal range, I would assume, for our kicker. But we get the first down. We really want a touchdown here. Don't want to have to settle for a field goal. But like I said, we're going to let the computer do all of that. And we weren't able to get in, but we did tie the game up with the field goal, which was huge. As we skip a couple moments where we probably should have jumped in right there. Especially not having any timeouts, but 2020, 3rd and 11. It's more than a minute left. Even if they kick a field goal, we should have about 50 seconds left. As you see, we get the ball back. They do kick the field goal. We're down 3 points. 47 seconds left. No timeouts. And we're at our own 24-yard line. Need a big drive here from Jake Fromm. Get us in field goal range. Except for Fromm. As AGG comes up with a huge catch. Probably should have did a rack catch right there instead of a possession catch. Go back to the same route. This time, executed with perfection. As you can see, he signals for the first down. He's excited. Really had a huge year this year. Almost 1,500 yards through the air. Which is probably the best season I ever had from a wide receiver I've drafted. And I've drafted them all. As you can see, they leave Alvin Kamara wide open on the outside post. And that will be all she wrote, hopefully. And we do escape with the win over the Dallas Cowboys, 23-27. Jake Fromm wins the Super Bowl in his rookie season, which is huge. You see he had 360 yards, 3 tutties. Huge game for him. Go ahead and auto-upgrade our players. Oh, I said Super Bowl. I'm too geeked to make it to the Super Bowl. I mean, he goes ahead and wins the NFC Championship game. But as you can see, we're not getting any forced wins. Now we'll go ahead and simulate to the Super Bowl, and hopefully Jake Fromm can come away with a win, as we'll be going against the Los Angeles Chargers, which is huge. I wonder if they brought back Phillip Rivers or if they drafted a rookie. They are only 9-7, 81 overall. But, in simulation, anything can happen. I'm looking forward to it being a good game. Hopefully we can come out on top. It will be huge for us to get this win. Huge for our young players, especially our quarterback, Jake Fromm. As we march down the field, get a touchdown. They come right back down the field and answer. We score again. Get the ball back, 21-7. They come right back down the field. Score a touchdown of their own. It's a really tight game right now, 14-21. We march back down the field. They march back down. A little bit of back and forth going on right now. We take a 10-point lead with a little bit over 4 minutes left. They drive down, get a touchdown. We end up running out the clock. We get the Super Bowl win, 24-31. Very close game, 240 yards, 3 touchdowns for Jake Fromm. And they went with Tyrod Taylor, who had a huge game, as you can see, 327 yards for him with 3 touchdowns. Which is crazy. I would have thought that they would have had a rookie quarterback, or at least someone like Jameis Winston, Jacoby Brissett, but Tyrod Taylor led them to the Super Bowl, so can't complain, as Jake Fromm wins the Most Valuable Player award in his first season, which is huge. You can see a couple other rookies nominated. Justin Herbert finishes third behind Cam Newton. We knew we was getting Rookie of the Year after we got the MVP. Get a couple players finished in the top 10 for a couple awards, but they didn't win. Offensive Rookie of the Year goes to none other than Jake Fromm. Best quarterback goes to Jake Fromm also. So he's really sweeping the awards. Huge season for him. AGG wins Best Wide Receiver, which is huge. I think that's the first time I ever won that award. Even when my receivers have a good year. Like, I done had receivers have 19 touchdowns, but they still don't get the award. Demario Davis finishes in the top 10 for best linebacker. We'll get Chauncey Gardner-Johnson in the top 10 for best DB. So we go ahead and look at our lineups. Check out our development upgrades that we've acquired, as Antonio Gandy Golden goes to Superstar X Factor, which is huge, as you can see, for winning Wide Receiver of the Year. And he's been progressing very well for us. As we go down, you can see all the progressions he's been getting. Jake Fromm goes up to Superstar, which is huge. So now we got 3 Superstar X Factor receivers, which is insane. Defense looks very solid. Shouldn't be a problem trying to repeat next year. Hopefully everyone plays as good as they did this season. We won't have a problem. As we go ahead and just look at the players we're going to be losing once again. Key pieces to the defense, especially Marcus Williams. Wish we could bring him back. It's going to be a huge blow to lose him to free agency, but we really just don't have the cash. Go ahead and look at the roster, see if there is any way that we could cut some costs. And Jared Cook seems like the only plausible, but that's still only giving us $5 million, which wouldn't be enough to bring back either one of those players that's leaving in free agency. So we're just going to leave the team how it is. As you can see, we're $1 million in the negative. Go ahead and advance to the 2021 draft. And with our first pick, we select CJ Verdell, 75 overall, 22 in true value. We get him at pick 32. Star development of better, which is huge for us. So we didn't get too much production out of our running backs last year. So we get into the second round. Looks like the draft is getting kind of thin. Could try the safety, LaMichael Nance. That seems like a good pick. Could go corner. We definitely need somebody to replace Marcus Williams. So we might go ahead and try Vincent McLeod, 71 overall, star development or better, which is huge, 59 in true value. We get him at pick 64. So, nice pick for us. I still wonder what that safety was. So we get into the third round. You can see it's really no one really worth drafting. Lewis Hobson looked like he would be a solid addition, like a backup linebacker or whatever. We'll go ahead and get an offensive lineman, Keon Newhouse, 69 overall, only normal development, which hurts, but they did consider it a good pick. We didn't reach, so and as we sim the rest of the draft, I feel like we did pretty decent for the picks that we had. I think CJ Verdell is a good running back. Should be a nice compliment to Alvin Kamara. We're just going to go ahead and switch Latavius Murray to full-time fullback. So CJ Verdell can try to split carries or get whatever carries Alvin Kamara is not getting. No, it's not going to be a split. Probably about 7 to 8 touches to 1, I would guess. But it's better than nothing. Now defense, we could use a right outside linebacker. Defensive line still looks solid. But as you can see, the players we did lose to free agency did leave some voids in our roster. But that's what the good teams do. They try to overcome things like that. Go ahead and simulate to mid-season. Hopefully our team's doing well. Hopefully everyone is healthy. Hopefully Jake Fromm can repeat his MVP rookie season or come anything close to that. We should definitely make the playoffs. As we get into week 9, you can see we are currently second in the division, 1 game out of first place. Jake Fromm is second in the NFL in passing yards, a little bit over 2,000, 18 touchdowns, only 4 interceptions, 75% completion percentage, which is huge. Alvin Kamara with a better year than he was having last year, 571 yards, 6 touchdowns. AGG on pace for another huge season. Josh Hill comes in and snags 6 touchdowns, 5 for Michael Thomas, and 2 for Amari Cooper with only 341 yards. Which is terrible. Hopefully in the second half of the season, he can pick up his production. Not getting too much pressure on the quarterback. Not too many interceptions outside of Marshawn Lattimore. But as you can see, we are second in defensive yards allowed. So defense playing real solid. As we go ahead, C.J. Verdell still hitting. Vincent McLeod turned out to have star development, which is nice. So we go ahead and auto upgrade our players before we simulate to the playoffs. And hopefully we could come back and take the division from the Carolina Panthers. They only had a game lead on us. As you can see, we beat them in Week 17, but we still finished third in the division. 8-8. The division was just horrible. We got the top 2 teams in the division finished 8-6-2, and we finished 8-8. Wow. 1 more win would have got us into the playoffs. As the Buccaneers make it to the Super Bowl with an 8-6-2 record. Wow. That's tough. Ezekiel Elliott wins MVP and Offensive Player of the Year. Roquan Smith wins Defensive Player of the Year. Trevor Lawrence wins Offensive Rookie of the Year as he is the quarterback of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and has led them to the Super Bowl. Jake Fromm finished in the top 5 or the top 10 at least in a lot of the awards he was nominated for. AGG barely cracks the top 10. So we get a couple offensive linemen nominated for Best O-Lineman. No linebackers nominated. And Marshawn Lattimore finishes second